I come in, sir?
Yes, please do.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sirs.
Good morning. Please take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
You're Sandhya Partap.
Yes, sir.
Sandhya, are you vaccinated?
Yes, sir.
Considering that all board members are also vaccinated, I'll advise you to remove your mask safely.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Can we start?
Yes, sir.
Fine, Sandhya. To begin with, introduce yourself to board.
Yes, sir. So, my name is Sandhya Partap and I am from Kaithal, Haryana. I completed my BTech in Computer Engineering from NIT Kurukshetra. After that, I worked as software engineer in CA Technologies, Hyderabad on a product regarding cyber security.
And you're still working?
No, sir. I quit the job 2 years ago.
Okay. And why is that?
Sir, I wanted to give my full focus attempt on UPSC. That's why I quit the job.
And why exactly you want to become a civil servant?
Sir, I was quite passionate about my job, but I also wanted to contribute to the nation development and wanted to make an impact on the lives of people. And civil services give me the opportunity to do this with dedication and authority. And also, there are various diversity of challenges that it offers. First, in the form of policy implementation and then the policy formulation. That's why I opted for civil services.
You're coming from Haryana, right?
Yes, sir.
And you did computer science engineering.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, nowadays there's a lot of talk about the artificial intelligence influencing democracy. I could never understand it. Artificial intelligence is technology. Democracy is something that a political thought. How are they related?
So, artificial intelligence is basically when a computer or a machine imitates a human intelligence. So, and democracy is like when the sovereignty is held with the people. So, artificial intelligence impacts democracy in such a way when any section of society or an advertisement or something that tries to influence the people's thinking, such as the political campaigning. If some selective kind of political campaigning is done to attract the particular type of followers, in that way, artificial intelligence impacts the democracy.
Very good.
So, Sandhya, what do you understand by engine of economic growth?
So, engine of economic growth is regarding how the investment takes place in in any economy. There are 4 components of GDP growth: consumption, investment, private investment, export and import. And if investment is increased, then savings, then productivity will increase, savings will increase, and then if the people invest those savings in human capital formation, then further productivity will increase and economy will be boosted.
Do you see, as a student of sociology, village melas as also a small engine of growth?
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Melas which are conducted, fair.
Okay.
Trade
melas, yes, sir.
Which are organized in urban areas also, but mostly in rural areas. So, do you look at this melas or trade fairs kind of thing as engine of growth?
Yes, sir. So, they can be considered as engine of growth because they take place at very, very decentralized level, and for many people, they are the source of income. But the main problem is this: whatever the transactions takes place in those melas, they do not form part of the GDP because many times they are in the barter form also, and these are not registered in anywhere. Like we have MCA 21 portal, which captures all the industrial output in India. Those are not registered here, so we can say that they are not accounted for properly in GDP growth.
Do you think that emergence of organized sector is leading to more inequality in society?
No, sir. It is not leading to. In fact, it is a main problem of India that more than 90% of the workforce is engaged in informal workforce, and they do not get any social security or maternity benefit, and either of them. And so it is a main reason of inequality in India. And organized sector enables, at least it gives people social security. So it is one of the booster for
that's true, but organized sector is also leading to more and more concentration of wealth and income in fewer hands, which are skilled hands, while unorganized sector engages large number of unskilled and semi-skilled persons. So income gets distributed more widely in unorganized sector.
So organized sector, it is leading to, we can't say that it is leading to the accumulation of wealth. If all the firms, it will come under the proper legislation, then the proper amount of tax will be calculated. In India, it is around 11%. Direct tax collection is only 11% of the GDP. So if more firms will come under the organized sector, more tax will be collected.
That's correct. But it will also lead to more concentration. For example, in last 10 years, inequality of wealth and income has widened in the country, and at the same time, tax collection has also increased rapidly. So it's true that as more concentration of wealth takes place and income, tax collection increases because tax base widens. The people who are already the tax base, they are registering higher growth rate of income.
So, Economic Survey 2019-20, it says that we have to increase the whole apple pie, we have to increase the whole share, and whatever the tax will be collected, that will be further distributed, further spent on the well-being of the people and welfare activities. So, it will be helpful in decreasing the inequality.
Okay, my final question: if you are appointed, get selected and appointed as ADM in an area, subdivision area, what measures would you take to contain local inflation, which is not visible in other areas?
So the first thing would be to check on the black marketing and black hoarding that would be taking place in many areas. If these things come into the market, then it will further increase in supply would decrease.
That's correct. Thank you, Sandhya.
Sandhya.
Yes, sir.
Have you gone through the recent days newspapers?
Yes, sir.
Why Finland and Sweden are trying hard to be part of NATO? It is there in today's newspaper also.
So I have read the headline today, but I haven't been able to fully read it. So they have been remain neutral throughout the entire history, even during the Cold War. But NATO is the security organization. If they feel that they feel that other nation is trying to attack on its sovereignty, that's why they have wanted to join NATO, so that they can get collective security from other countries.
Okay. Sandhya, do you believe that the expansion of NATO will create Russia more aggressive?
So, the situation that is prevailing right now, it can be said that NATO expansion is making Russia more assertive, because Russia is feeling that if more countries will go into the Western orbit, then it will suffer the further decline in its prestige. And since those countries are covering its western borders, it doesn't have any sufficient buffer with the western countries. That's why Russia is becoming more assertive right now.
So what is the solution as per your perception?
So, as a country like India, it is wanted to focus on its national security. So it is focusing on the solution of the problem through dialogue and diplomacy. That's what India is suggesting, and it is also talking against the human rights violation, but without any name calling.
Do you believe that there should be some more cultural alliances, cultural organizations, social alliances apart from the military alliances like NATO?
Yes, sir. So cultural alliances are a very good example to increase the comity between the different nations. For example, we have ASEAN, and ASEAN promotes the socio-cultural integrity among all the Southeast Asian nations, and it is one of the best regional grouping all over the world, economically, culturally, socially, and that's why it is better to have the cultural alliances all over the world.
Okay, Sandhya. Why Secretary of State Blinken said that America is monitoring so many human rights violations in India? Do you believe it is true, or it is something like coercive diplomacy, playing from US to India, or
Yes,
from developed to developing nations?
Yes, sir. So, there is some evidences of the selective targeting of India on international platform, like we have seen during the when India bought discounted Russian oil. And there are human rights violation, they selectively focus on that. And there are some examples of maintenance of multicultural identity throughout the centuries, and they do not focus on that. There are many examples of intercommunal harmony in India, but the West is more focused on the other examples.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
You're coming from Haryana, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the three biggest challenges Haryana as a society is facing today, according to you?
Ma'am, the first biggest challenge is obviously the poor socio-economic parameters regarding the women. Like we have honor killing, which is the bisection of gender-based and the caste-based violence in Haryana, and poor sex ratio. In Haryana has 879 sex ratio according to census 2011. And the third thing is caste-based politics in India. There, like elections are fought on the caste-based issues in Haryana.
Okay. So you talked about socio-economic indicators regarding to women, right? So if I ask you to design an awareness campaign for Haryana specifically, so what all mediums would you use and what all messages you would want to send across for improving these indicators or gender equity in general?
Ma'am, the first thing would be to improve the attitude of the people. Like we had
how do we do that? How do we improve the attitude of people?
There is no unidirectional approach for this, but we can try. Like we can have the social media campaigns.
Okay.
Like we have, we can use the different graffitis. We can popularize the example of the famous women. Like we have Sakshi Malik, we have Manu Bhakar. These women have made proud of Haryana in India. So we can popularize their example that girls can achieve anything. And the second thing would be to ensure the safety of women so that they can go more to the colleges and more to the schools. And if these parameters are, if the women themselves get educated on these, then it will further help. And the next thing would be to increase the, I couldn't recall any other thing right now.
Okay, no problem. You worked with cyber security.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you elaborate for me what kind of challenges India is facing today? And are we adequately prepared to address those challenges in the area of cyber security?
Ma'am, the first challenge would be the state-sponsored and the non-state actors' cyber attacks on our critical information infrastructure. Like we have attack on NTPC Mumbai plant, and it led to blackout for around 2-3 hours in Mumbai. And the second thing would be people are also not aware about the cyber security. Like they do not use the updated softwares. So it led to the stealing of data, identity theft from their phones, and these are the main challenges.
Okay, if we talk about some figures, how many number of attacks do we face daily? Do you have any idea?
Sorry, ma'am, I'm not.
No. Okay, let's talk about how we are prepared about it. What do you think, in your opinion?
Ma'am, we have...
First of all, who regulates cybersecurity?
Ministry of Home Affairs.
Okay. Ministry of Home Affairs, is it? Like we have a policy about it. How do we do that?
We have National Cyber Security Policy 2013 regarding this.
Mm-hmm.
So we have cyber CERT in that is Computer Emergency Response Team,
mm-hmm.
and it regulates all the it sees all the traffic, that is internet traffic, that is coming to India. And we have National Cybercrime Coordination Center under Ministry of Home Affairs, and it carries out the cyber forensic activities. And we have I4C. I couldn't recall the full form.
Okay, who looks about cyber security issues in financial sector? Banks and
RBI regulates the digital payments, but regarding cyber security, I am unable to recall.
Okay. Digital forensics. Are you aware of this term?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is it?
Digital forensics is using the different tools. Like we have laboratories, cyber laboratories. They use different tools. We can find it on net, or we have proprietary software regarding this. So they check the malicious activities occurring on the cyberspace.
One last question I'll ask you. Like, which district do you come from?
Kaithal.
Kaithal. So, if you are appointed DM of the district, can you use drone technology in any way to, in any positive way, in any way which you can think of?
The number one would be like we have villages in Haryana and it can be used for crop estimation, or we can use it for soil moisture monitoring.
Soil moisture monitoring, can we do that via drone?
We have to use remote sensing along with drones.
Okay, so that would raise the cost a lot,
yes,
I think.
It would raise the cost.
Any other thing you can think of other than a crop estimation?
Food delivery or any other service delivery using drones.
Okay, thank you.
Sandhya, continuing on villages in Haryana, 7 districts in Haryana have zero availability of groundwater. Haryana is struggling with the issue of groundwater. Can you suggest some measures, or firstly name the measures that government has already taken to address the issue?
Yes, ma'am. The major issue was that during Green Revolution, the water-intensive crop, mainly paddy, was grown. So Haryana government, it has started Mera Pani Meri Virasat, which is basically a crop diversification scheme, so that farmers can move to other crops like millets, which are more water beneficial, millets, pulses. So this can be one of the measure that can be taken, like moving on to other crops. And the second thing would be rainwater harvesting, watershed management. These steps can be taken.
Okay. Do you know what is Polluters Pay Principle?
Yes, ma'am. It is a recent principle that NGT uses so that they can make, if any industrial havoc takes place, the industry that is responsible for it, they can compensate or the victims, or they can, or it is some other, like they can collect how much damage they have done to the environment on the basis of
Can you recollect any case where last NGT has imposed this or used this principle?
Ma'am, I can take a guess. I'm not sure whether that principle was used or not. In the LG Polymers plant in Visakhapatnam around 2 years ago, I think they used this principle.
Okay, Sandhya, tell me what kind of behavior annoys you?
Hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy.
Yes,
all right. Sandhya, since you're from Haryana and Haryana is also struggling with drug menace, substance abuse is becoming common in Haryana. What are the reasons for it?
Ma'am, the first thing would be it shares border with Punjab, and Punjab shares a much bigger problem of drug abuse. So there are some like diffusion of problem from Punjab to Haryana. This is the main reason that I could.
Sandhya, can you name any drug that's legal in India?
No, ma'am.
Do you know what is the punishment for consuming drugs in India?
It is not harsh. It is not that much harsh that I can. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not.
Okay, it's okay. Let me put you into a situation where your best friend comes to you and says that from last 2 months she has been involved in substance abuse. What will you do? Will you report her to police? Will you help her out? What are you going to do?
I would help her out, but I would also report it to the police because drug consumption.
So you would send your best friend behind the bars?
Yes, ma'am. It is illegal in India to because if she doesn't get the help and if she doesn't pay for her.
How will you help her?
I will tell her that it is wrong and some rehabilitation that she can receive. I will tell her.
Okay, my last question to you would be, Sandhya, you are a student of sociology. How has fast food affected our society, especially states like Haryana, Punjab, where we had very healthy habits of, food? So how has fast food affected our society?
It has led to the like dairy industry was really strong in Haryana. It is now also, but it is not as strong as before it, because the fast food people prefer, especially urban people, they prefer to eat the fast food, and it also shows the impact of globalization, the need of the culture of artificial consumption. It reflects a culture of artificial consumption, and that's it, ma'am.
That's all you're able to think? Okay, thank you, Sandhya.
Okay, Sandhya,
Yes, sir.
Sandhya, you mentioned that you like fiction.
Yes.
What kind of fiction do you read?
Sir, I don't have specific genre in mind, but I prefer to read that give me the description of social hierarchy, social structures of the universe in which those fictions are set.
Recently, Geetanjali Shri was in news vis-a-vis fiction. Why?
So she has been nominated for the Booker Prize, and it is the first Hindi book that has been nominated for the.
Is it the Hindi book that's been nominated, or it's
No, she wrote in Hindi, but it has been translated.
Which book are we talking about?
I couldn't recall the names.
Okay, no problem. Tell me, since you like fiction, and the fictionscape nowadays has many writers who are writing on mythology as fiction. And there's a huge, again, misappropriation of mythology and religion there. Do you believe that there should be some ways of dealing such subject?
Yes, sir. So they can give the disclaimer in the beginning that all those incidents that they have been portraying in the book, they are their own creation. It is not related to the history. They have just used the character. We have historical fictions before also, but they need to put some kind of disclaimer so they can say that these are not based on historical incident and people do not take it in that way.
Fine, Sandhya, it was nice talking to you. Your interview is over. You can go now. Aye. Take your seat, Sandhya.
Thank you, sir.
So, Sandhya, it is going to be your first interview at the UPSC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your interview is on 20th of April. So, you have only 3-4 days, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, you're happy with your performance, or there are areas you believe you can do a little bit?
Sir, I was able to answer that I have read things, and the one where I have to put my mind, I wasn't that good.
Yeah, and that is the kind of feedback we have actually from my colleagues also. In general, you're a good candidate. You'll be wearing the same dress, or you have
No,
something
sir,
else
different suit.
You'll be wearing a sari?
No, sir, different suit.
Different suit. Okay, I mean, wear whatever suits that occasion. I mean, sari is generally better, but then it's your choice. In general, you carry good personality. Your entry is good. Sitting posture, I have two small suggestions to make, but in general, it's good. One is vis-a-vis your hand clasping thing. You have this stance, which is more of a, I won't call it offensive in a sense, but it appears as if you are preparing yourself to pounce it, or that kind of. It's a gesture which appears more combative rather than relaxed. So my advice will be, don't clasp your hand. Similarly, on the other hand, your legs are getting into the chair. So which is again a sign of as if you're kind of you're shrinking, that kind. So you can be relaxed. Just place your आगे रख के पैर रखिए जरा सीधे. That's it. थोड़ा सा और पीछे ले जा सकते हैं, थोड़ा सा. That's it. Relax, right? Idea is, see, please understand what is the best way of presenting yourself non-verbally. That is the most relaxed and human. You don't have to look as if you are in a situation which is in which you are under pressure or you are under awe. That shouldn't appear. Right now, there was a slight change that could have made you more relaxed. This is one suggestion. Coming to other things, in general, your voice level is good, both in terms of speed as well as volume. Your hand movement, I just mentioned. Eye contact is good. You're looking at the person you're talking to primarily, which is the good idea. And flow is also good. Talking about the content thing, you rightly said, wherever you were given question where on the basis of memory or on the basis of preparation you had to answer, you were very, very good. But wherever there was this analysis thing, you were good. But you could have been a little better and you could have taken that opportunity. You need to understand whenever analytical question, open-ended question, creative questions are given, these are the opportunity for the candidate to score another 10 marks, another 5 marks, right? It appears now that you're playing too defensively here. You're trying to finish this aspect as soon as possible rather than showing the best of yours. So I'll advise you to play on front foot on this rather than going back foot, right? So whenever you can, and if for some reason you don't want to answer it, I mean, there too, for example, your reply to certain questions which are opinion based. So, sorry, ma'am, I cannot recall. Recall is the factual thing, right? You're getting the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
You're taking even the analytical question as if it is a factual question. So, what should if for some reason you have to say no, what should be the best way of saying it rather than recall, because it's not a recall thing. So, I mean, you can probably say these are the only point I can think of right now, or something else. If you have to escape it, I'll advise you not to escape it, because these are not factual question where you have to give a right or wrong answer, right? Other things in general, you're doing very, very good, right? Other things, good. So overall, you're already ready to go. There are only few fine adjustments that you need to make, and you don't need huge preparation now. Don't get into books again. I mean, read as much as you want, but it's more about the approach and attitude that need to work. Otherwise, you're already very, very good, right? All the best.
Thank you, sir.